guys, welcome back to another typing video. John Bodine here with Redemptive Psych, and today we're going to look at the singer, the celebrity Dua Lipa, to try and figure out her personality type. She is on a short list of, I would say, maybe 10 to 20 kind of famous people, at least in American culture, whose type is pretty disputed, and there's also a lot of interest in what her type is. She's obviously a popular figure. I don't know what she is right now. I've listened to her a little bit over the years. I haven't made up my mind about what she is, but we're gonna hopefully change that in this video. Again, I've pulled up clips, a couple longer videos and a couple shorts that I haven't seen, and I'm gonna react to it in real time and analyze it and talk about what I see. You know, there's a lot of discrepancy about what her type is, so wherever I end up with what I see her as, I imagine a lot of you will probably not agree. So if you want to communicate below what you think she is and why, that can help our discussion as a community move forward. So I'm going to start with the video here, and let's dive in.
I think there's just this massive stigma around pop music overall, and especially as a female artist, to be taken seriously unless you're behind a piano or a guitar. Then if you're just making songs that feel good, that have the aim to make you feel positive, make you feel good, that...
Okay, just real quick, you know, I'm going to try and not read into too much off the bat, but stigma can be either a TE or FE thing. In this case, my instinct says TE. It feels like she's describing a TE thing.
They don't have depth.
Dua Lipa. Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you, Tom.
How are you? I'm all right. Congratulations on the record. I really love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so happy for it to finally to be coming out into the world.
I think I was just saying to you before we turned the microphones on that it's like a weird, cool, psychedelic dance record.
Oh, cool. That's what I wanted it to have, that real freedom that I feel like psychedelia has. And I feel like, I don't know, when I think about like psychedelic music, I think about like the summer of love.
Yeah.
And I feel like we spent 2 years of our life kind of indoors during the pandemic collectively. And we're all kind of like...
I want it to have that real freedom that I feel like psychedelia has. That is an extroverted sensing statement, actually. I think. It's possible she's talking about her own experience in relation to, you know, I experienced this, whatever psychedelic space she's talking about as this, and I want other people to experience that too. But it seems more the other way around, like there's a vibe that she's trying to impact onto other people. If it is the latter, that is technically extroverted sensing.
Figuring out the new normal, and it feels like now we're just back in the swing of things. And so for this record to come out, it feels like a real kind of free-flowing moment for that time, for that kind of radical optimism within all the madness. So,
well, it's like speaking of the summer of love. I mean, we're in Jimi Hendrix's studio, so that's pretty psychedelic.
The home of it.
Yeah, I was listening to this interview with Caroline Aylan, who's one of your most close collaborators.
Yeah,
and she had a line that I found really interesting about you, and she said every studio session with Dua starts with the truth. So what?
Radical optimism within all the madness. That could be a few different things, so I'm not going to comment on that. Though it could be like one of three things, but all of them are a little bit different.
What were the truths or the truth that you were exploring on this record?
I guess, you know, my really close friendship with Caroline over the years. We've worked on all 3 of my albums now together. Has just allowed this sense of closeness that I can go into a room and just be myself and talk about things that are happening in my life. And I know that together we can write songs that allow me to tell my story, but also offer me a kind of sense of protection in a way that I can write songs from my experience, but I can also like mask them in mysticism and, you know, whether it's Houdini or it's illusion or whatever way that I want to describe it, that also gives me like a safety net on how I want to tell my stories. And it always starts with the truth, because it's always like a dear diary. I come into the studio, and especially this album, it was a
Okay, there's a lot going on here. I can tell she's going to be hard to type. She has a lot of different things going on. Okay, so first off, she's talking about meeting with her friend and writing songs together, and that is her description there. Seems like extroverted sensing. Okay, I can relax. I'm around them. They make me feel comfortable. I can be myself. Like I can express myself. A little bit of FI there, and it seems more like an SE thing. And but then she goes into this like an abstract language of this mysticism, kind of hiding behind these. I don't know if they're like different names or concepts that she performs behind, but that is technically, I have to say, that's an abstract thing to talk about mysticism in that way, and then placing herself behind these. I don't know if they're characters or different elements of her style. So there's a lot going on just in these last 30 seconds here. So for her, we're gonna have to look at this from a couple different ways, but mostly to try and figure out what is her primary way of being. I get the impression that she's actually a pretty integrated person. Integrated people are much harder to type. So we're gonna have to drill down here to get real specific on what she's saying and what she's about.
just a fun year of me just coming in every day into the studio and being like, well, this happened last night, and so let's write about it and let's talk about it.
Like a story, like, oh, we went out last night and then this happened.
And then this happened. It was really how it was. And yeah, a lot of the stories just kind of stemmed from personal relationships, things that were going on, like ups and downs and good dates and bad ones, and it's like girl chat.
It's concrete. Reference points are more of the immediate of this just happened, let's write about this, and less about expressing an idea, instead expressing more of an experience. Okay, that's more concrete. That's also, it could be SI or SE. I see again a little bit more SE there, but I'm not going to say that for sure. Yeah, let's keep going.
You know, sitting down and just like putting it all down onto paper.
What's Houdini about?
That's what I was gonna say. Okay, the interviewer said, you know, referencing what someone else said about Dua Lipa. Dua always starts with the truth. Okay, when we hear that in a type community, we're gonna think TI, right? Most of the time. But then she talks about her process, and that process of writing, she talked about, you know, referencing what happened last night, going out. But then she talks about expressing herself truthfully, which is FI, possibly high FI. So when someone says like the truth, it can either be FI or TI. Usually, when it's like my personal truth, it's more like FI, like this is who I am, this is what I am. TI it can be a little bit like that, but it's more about accuracy and correctness rather than you know, personal expression.
So Houdini is about, I guess, just really like knowing your worth. It's like finally coming to a place of being like, if you're good enough, I'll stay. And
oh my gosh, yeah, she's tough. But again, we see some more concrete here. She's really interesting, actually. I can feel there's just like different parts of her that are more in harmony than I think with most people. On a more general level, her natural mannerism, she's very pleasant, and she smiles a lot, and she communicates well. That is often a sign of being a higher feeling type, whether it's FE or FI. I would tilt a little bit towards FI when they are a source of warmth. So that's something to keep in mind. That is something you can use to type people. You just need to make sure you use it with other tools.
And if you're not, I know when it's time for me to leave. Like, I know when a situation's good for me or not. And that was probably something I wasn't able to do as well previously in my life.
What's
or
that?
when I was writing, knowing when to like leave. Like a bad and negative relationship or something, those are things that I had to like learn through. I like stuck it out. Like my first ever relationship I stayed in for way longer than I should have done because I felt like that was the way that things were supposed to be, or until I was like, wait a second, this person doesn't make me feel good, or, you know, isn't very nice to me, isn't kind to me, puts me down, says things that make me feel uncomfortable, you know, whatever it is. You just kind of learn from all those experiences, and I'm at a place now where...
Okay, wow. There's a lot to dig into here. So whatever her inferior function is, it's being expressed here somehow, okay? It could be a few different ones. It really could be like 4 different ones, probably. It could be SE inferior, where they're afraid of being abandoned, so they try and provide the stability to other people that they want, the best that they can, especially if other people are loyal to them. But it also feels like maybe some FI critic, if it is SE inferior, like, you know, I wasn't worthy enough. It doesn't quite feel like that to me, though. It feels more like something else. Like it could be TE inferior, it could be SI inferior, it could be NE inferior. But I'm going to put that aside for now because that's too much language at the moment. What I do see is this awareness of worth. Okay, she starts this answer talking about knowing your worth. That is an FI statement. Probably it feels like a higher FI statement to me, meaning above the child, the parent, or the hero. I'm not gonna stick with that for certain, but that's what it looks like. And she's articulating these reasons. These situations aren't good. People, you know, not being kind to me, doing things that make me uncomfortable. It is a rising awareness of boundaries that you can enforce. And I see more and more concrete here, actually. I see less abstract, more and more very situational awareness. She's referencing her own life experience and environment she's been around. Whether that's SE or SI doesn't matter right now because she's probably concrete. And it seems like she's an FI user.
I just won't stand for that, not even for a second. And Houdini is a very strong song of like, catch me or I'm leaving kind of thing.
You said something in your first answer that I'm sort of stuck on. You said,
I thought so.
one per interview, Dua. You said, it allows me to tell my story and speak openly while still offering me protection. Mm-hmm. Protection from what?
I think when you have, like for me, like my life is so public, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
So whether that's me walking down the street or where I am or what I'm doing, there is so much of myself that I offer up anyway. There's also so much of myself that I've made peace with the fact that so many people have an insight into my life. I've also made peace with the fact that people are going to make up scenarios about me, or they're going to believe what they want to believe about me. And I've also allowed myself to be okay with so many of those things because I get to do what I love every single day, and that's make music and be on stage and perform and travel the world. So those are the sacrifices that I've made. When I write my songs, that's my therapy. How I choose to dress them up, that's my therapy. How I can talk about my personal experiences, but I don't have to necessarily like say the name.
Yeah.
That can be for me, and the person who maybe hears it will know it's about them, but I don't have to go and like paint a very like I don't have to put someone on blast in order for me to get my like catharsis in a way.
Okay. That's an introverted feeling process. She's describing expressing something in a way. She is. It sounds like she's protecting the anonymity of other people in her life, even if they have hurt her. And she's talking about this catharsis through how she expresses herself. Okay, that's FI. She's protecting their privacy too, which is tilts towards a little bit of extroverted sensing. Also, this discussion about her life being public, not being private, and her making peace with that. That feels like, I think it's a combination of an introverted feeling function somewhere, critic or above, most likely, possibly demon, and then some extroverted thinking. It might be TE inferior, being worried about how people regard her, how people think of her. It could be that. That's sort of where I'm leaning at the moment. Maybe a TE inferior. I see more FI. I see a decent amount of SE. We might be looking at an SFP. Though I get why some people think she's an INFJ. Her vibe is the way that a lot of people think of when they think INFJ. But those are based off stereotypes. So we're going to stop that interview there. We're going to watch some shorts, and then if we don't have what we need, we're going to come back to a little bit of a longer video again too. So let's do this short here.
I had such a great time. I also did a movie called Argyle, which comes out February 2nd, which I'm very excited about. Loved the experience. At the moment, music's my top priority. Got an album coming out this year, so we'll see. But who knows? I love it, and it was fun, and but music first. I had such a great.
Okay, talking about priorities here. Usually when people talk about priorities, when they use that language, probably FI statement, okay? And she's staying in the moment. She's talking about her experiences. Yes, there's some things coming later this year, but it's still a concrete thing. She's excited. She's expressing her excitement about it. I would say that's more SE and FI. Is this an SFP? Interesting. Let's go to the next one.
So at 15, I moved back to London on my own.
But how does that work? How does like practically how does a 15-year-old live independently in London?
Well, I was living with a roommate, and my parents knew her parents, and
that's fine then.
But she was studying here in London, but she was older. We had a big age gap as well, and I think we got on for the most part until she kind of went in my room and took pictures of my messy bedroom and sent it to my mum. Horrible. I was 15. But it was good. I mean, you know, me and my parents, we have such an amazing relationship, and we're so close, and they put a lot of trust in me. So I really tried to be as good as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They put a lot of trust in me. I think she's describing a TE perspective. Their opinion of me was good enough. They put trust in me, which feels like SI towards them, towards her, meaning that she'd be SE to receive that. That looks a little bit more like TE at the end of that there. And again, telling stories, staying more in the moment, not very conceptual, talking about her experience as these reference points from her life. Not a lot of abstraction. Let's go to the next one here.
You're always met with some kind of pushback as a female artist if you're not like with a guitar or with a piano, just like, oh, she can't sing, oh, it's all processed, oh, it's this, oh, it's whatever. I just think there's just like a stigma around pop music.
But that was the music which you wanted to do from the beginning.
Because I loved it. That's the music that makes me get up and dance.
Okay. I'm gonna listen to that one more time. There's a couple nuggets here.
You're always met with some kind of pushback as a female artist if you're not like with a guitar or with a piano, just like, oh, she can't sing, oh, it's all processed, oh, it's this, oh, it's whatever.
Okay. She can't sing, it's all processed. It's like, okay, this is what people say about this, that's TE. And they think I don't have what it takes, that's SE. I am affected, how I feel is affected by what they think of me, and I want to actually have real ability, which is extroverted sensing. So I see TE somewhere here. It seems like TE in more of an insecure spot, maybe an inferior, maybe a child, like ESFPs and ENFPs can be sensitive to what other people say about them. But it looks like also some extroverted sensing here, in addition to her being concrete.
I just think there's just like a stigma around pop music.
But that was the music which you wanted to do from the beginning.
Because I loved it. That's the music that makes me get up and dance.
That's the music that gets me up and to dance. That is her sharing an experience again. So that there's an SI-SE interchange here, okay? So like SFPs, they have high SE, but their SI is high enough that they enjoy a good experience and that they're very quick and it's easy for them to give that experience to other people. She's also talking about stigma again here, which is, in this context, I see it as extroverted thinking again. Keep an eye out for people's inferior functions when you're typing them, and they'll usually come out in some way, some kind of self-protection or an over-reliance on the hero, possibly. So I see more TE and more SE. That'd be interesting if she was an ISFP. Is that 2 or 3? Okay, let's go to the last short here.
Yeah, I can speak it fluently.
What does te dua mean?
I love you.
Okay, but what does te dua mean?
Yeah, I can speak it.
Okay, so they're talking about her name, I think, is that French? And it sounds like she's a little bit hesitant to be forthcoming about it. I can speak it fluently. Yeah, not a lot there, but whatever he was saying, if that translates to her stage name or if that is her real name, it sounds like she was hesitant to go into what that means, which is SE and I think some TE again too. Okay, so we're gonna watch one more video. Where I'm at right now is I see lots of extroverted sensing. Well, I see some extroverted sensing. I see lots of concrete, okay? She uses some abstract language occasionally, but all of her stories, all of how she communicates, when she's asked questions, she's referencing something that has been or something that is, okay? The abstraction is not really there. TE users can come across abstract when they're talking about their knowledge of a certain method, something like that, but her stories so far have stayed in the concrete. She's talking about the impact on other people, losing privacy. That can be a lot of things, but that mixed in with everything else, I see more extroverted sensing there. She talked about stigma a few times. Again, losing the privacy also in an extroverted thinking way. Protecting the anonymity of others, expressing her truth as a personal, almost a personal confession of her inner life. That is FI. Okay, so also she doesn't seem like super on it when she's being interviewed. She kind of stays on track. She's not super boisterous, so she seems more responding. So I think she is introverted, and I think we might be looking at an ISFP, guys.
I did see the ladder, I just wasn't sure if it was like a prop I could use.
Okay, as a side note, if she was extrovert sensing inferior, an INFJ or INTJ, they are much less likely to get up and do something like that, especially at the start of an interview or of a process. They're much more constrained with what they do that affects other people. So her getting up on the ladder and kind of swinging around, to me, speaks of a high level of personal comfort in the situation. So just as a side note there.
Hey Vogue, I'm Dua Lipa, and today I'm gonna cook a roasted sea bass on potatoes. Quick, easy, simple, perfect for lunch, dinner, whatever. Drink first, obviously. I'm making a Negroni. It's equal parts gin. Oh, I should put ice in it. There you go. Campari and vermouth. Let all mix. I just love a Negroni. Some people find it quite medicinal, but maybe it's my medicine, baby.
Okay. This is pragmatic to serve alcohol on a show like this. An INFJ or other type would be a little more self-conscious about it, because alcohol is sort of it tilts towards pragmatism, actually, especially around other people like this. So yeah, that's technically a little bit pragmatic.
Bloody hell, that's strong. Now I'm gonna cook even better. All right, perfect. So now drink's done. I feel like anytime I cook, it's kind of like cowboy style. It's whatever's in the fridge and I just pull things out. But today is a dish that I make really, really often. On the ingredients list today is potatoes, obviously, garlic, anchovies, Kalamata olives, capers, tomatoes, bit of rosemary, bit of basil. I like to mix it up, and then salt, pepper, chili flakes, olive oil, that's it. After I've washed my potatoes, I keep it really simple. I just cut them into discs. I'll pop all these here in the tray, just like that. And then I'll separate them so they have some space in there. And the potatoes kind of go in first because they need a bit more cooking time than the fish. So I'll pop the potatoes in for like 30 minutes. And that's kind of all I do for a little bit, but I'll take out the fish. Okay, I'll cut this open just a bit more. I like to put some garlic in.
Okay, so we're gonna stop this video here. I'm not gonna watch her cook for 10 minutes, but there's a couple things to notice, okay? You can always notice something, even if people aren't talking with their behavior. Like I said in the beginning of this video, someone getting up on like a little ladder like that and kind of gliding in a glamorous way, probably not SE inferior. She seems confident and comfortable in the mechanics of what she's doing. Again, leading up till now, we've really overwhelmingly primarily seen evidence for concrete. So I think we're looking at a high extrovert sensing user. I think we're looking at SFP guys. And I think we're looking at an ISFP. I'm going to stop here for now because to be 100% sure, I would have to watch a lot more. But I'm going to rely on that process up till now. She is the hardest celebrity I've typed so far. She's complex. ISFPs are also hard to type. In the video I did on the most mistyped types, ISFPs were number 2. And I think that's one of the reasons she's been typed as an INFJ. as, I think she has been typed by actually as ISPs by other people, but saw her was typed by an ISTJ by someone. I don't think so. I think she's an ISFP. Pragmatic, extroverted thinking. She's responding, but I think she's also informative, okay? Informative is a little trickier to tell with responding types because they won't necessarily talk a lot, and that can come across as direct. But I think she's more informative. I see her filling in the context a little bit more. So with that being said, I think Dua Lipa is an ISFP, guys. So share what you guys think down below. I'll do my best to respond to you guys, especially with someone like this who's just more complex than a lot of the people that will be typing. So anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.